everyone, I'm Becky,
And I'm Sarah.
and we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we are talking about Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, which I hope I pronounced that correctly. Which, I actually think I got off of Edelweiss, now that I think about that.
I think I got it off NetGalley.
I think it was Edelweiss. So this book is this author's first book, and I was impressed.
I agree.
This book is about Donis Fontaine, who is 18 years old. She just graduated from high school. Her father was Native American, and her mother was Caucasian from like the wealthiest family in town, like right outside the. They didn't really say reservation, so I don't know. They kept saying tribal land, so I don't know if that's a reservation or did they really?
They just they were just talking about like the name of the island and stuff. They didn't really get into the nuts of it.
So her mother was 16 when she got pregnant, and her family was very wealthy, and so they sent her mother to Canada to have the baby. And by the time the mother and the baby came back, the father had gotten somebody else pregnant and had married her. And so Donis has kind of like lived her whole life in between these two worlds, because she does have this relationship with her father's family, the Firekeepers, and she honors their traditions and she loves her family, but she also loves her mother's family and wants to be part of their world where these very wealthy white people basically. She also, from the time she was very small, her father had been a hockey star, and so from the time she was very small, she and her brother both played hockey, and she played hockey all the way through high school. And that's a big part of her identity. So right after she graduates from high school, this new boy moves to town named Jamie, and he's on the hockey team with her brother, Levi, and they kind of interact, and she kind of starts to kind of grow an attraction to him. Well, at the same time, she finds out that there has been a major meth problem in the community, and there is an investigation on what's going on with the meth, and there's this new kind of meth that is causing people to hallucinate in a way that they think is somehow from a hallucinogenic that was on the tribal's land. And she gets pulled into this investigation after her friend is murdered by the friend's ex-boyfriend who had meth problems. And it kind of all ties back together with the new boy in town and with her heritage. And it sounds like, reading the description, I wasn't sure what I was going to get, but this is basically a thriller.
Yeah, it is.
It is a mystery thriller.
Well, and describing, like when you describe it, yes, you're describing everything that's involved, and it sounds like just too much, but like when you're reading it, it doesn't feel that way.
Well, this book is 500 pages long, and when a book's that long, I'm like, well, what you should have cut? But you wouldn't have cut anything, because you have the story with her father's family and the stuff going on with the tribal culture, and you have the story with her mother, and you have the story with her uncle who had just overdosed, they think, and what was going on with there, and her grandmother is in a nursing facility from a stroke, and there's just so much stuff going on, but like
it all connects and it all pushes the story forward
so well, and it's so well done, and it was really, the only thing is, I don't understand why it was based in 2004. Maybe that was something relevant that I didn't know, because it didn't really need to be, but it worked.
Well, and the other thing is, pieces and parts of her backstory I felt were unclear. Like, what happened? You get to know like what happens, and like it is further, it's clarified, but she clarifies it much later in the novel than I would have preferred. Like, what happened to her father? Like, what's going on with that backstory? And why isn't she playing hockey? And like, what does she keep alluding to? Why did it take so long to really kind of get into that? And so it feels like there are certain pieces and parts of her backstory that were just unclear for longer than I would have liked.
And I was okay with that, because to me that was building the tension.
Yeah, there was so much tension in the other pieces and parts of the novel that I didn't need it in her backstory.
I just kind of felt like she didn't want to deal with it, and since you're in her head, you don't get to know.
And that's fair because that's really kind of how that is her MO throughout
Right.
the novel. But I don't know, I guess. But see, for me, I want all the cards laid out on the table from the get go. And I think that's just me as a person. So it works as a novel, but like me as a reader, like I personally just want the cards.
Well, and I liked the interaction with Jamie. I liked the development of
I
Jamie.
really liked Jamie. I did. Like, and there were some like reasons why I feel like I shouldn't have liked him as much as I did, but God, I liked him. And I liked her, the main character. Like, she was awesome. And like, her science knowledge was just mind-blowingly awesome. Like, she
Right.
knows the scientific classifications of different things. She, is very methodical in kind of the chemistry part of it and the classification and the gosh, what was that where the the process where you like not make assumptions, but where you like figure things out. What is that?
Scientific method?
Yes, her ability to like work through the scientific method. Um, she was like this smart girl who could play hockey, who also was spiritual, who also like could have this kick-ass romance. Like she was really well, like there were so many pieces and parts to her.
Well, and I really liked how she integrated the stuff with the Native American culture,
I
and
agree.
like it was seamlessly integrated. This was not like it wasn't like, you know how sometimes when you're learning about other cultures it's almost jarring, but this was like beautifully done. This was like seamlessly
And it didn't
integrated.
really feel like a school report where they're just
Right.
telling us everything about it. Like this really, to me, this felt like a Jessie Ann Foley book, but with a Native American twist. Like it read very similar to Jessie Ann Foley books.
Well, and
Like
this has
her
been
quote.
optioned by Netflix.
So
So
I think we need more books like this.
we do. And I keep Googling it because like when I love something like this, I'm like, it's accurate, right? And I really think it, because everything I've read about the author, I think it's accurate, but I don't know. So I'm hoping that like my love is not, you know,
Not going to be torn down later.
right. And like there's so much more stuff I could talk about, but it gives away big chunks of the story.
Right.
Um,
I don't want to do that. I don't want
right,
to ruin the story because it's so good.
right.
And it takes a commitment. Like you have to be committed to this book, um, because it is so long, but it's worth it.
It's 500 pages long.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Right. And I mean, it did take me almost a whole week to read it.
Yeah,
But I was in. I was all in.
I agree. And this is one that I'll be recommending to my friends, to my coworkers, to the teens coming in the library. Like, yes.
So we're
You
end of
know,
February.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say we're end of February, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think she has any other novels, so I would say Morris. I would
Oh,
say this should be on the Prince consideration list.
yes, definitely. Oh, the thing that I was thinking of. So we recently reviewed The Project by Courtney Summers. And the characters in this book, her age is very similar to the age in The Project, but this one worked so much better as a YA book than that one. And like this is a perfect example of how you can have those older teens but still fit into young adult.
Well, and I feel like this is like a YA book, but this is also a new adult book, and I think adults will enjoy this book.
I agree. I agree. Whereas the Project, that was really an adult book.
Right.
Like this book, I think highlight like it distinguishes what the difference is between the two, like between kind of adult books and young adult books and new adult books.
So we should probably just rate it.
Okay,
Our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We go down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it's a horse.
I'm at 4 unicorns. Like the writing was really well done. Is it a prince? I don't know. Like I don't know yet. Um,
It's definitely Morris. It's definitely should be.
it solidly should be on the Morris list, and if it's not, I'll be upset. Um, I wanted the more clarity in the backstory earlier on, and that's just me as a like me personally. But you know what? It's my opinion, in my opinion, is what drives what I choose to rate this book. So I'm rating it a 4, and that's what it is.
I'm like almost at a 5, and I can't, like, I'm like at a 4.5, and I'm not 100% sure why I'm not quite at a 5. So I think I'm gonna go with a 5 because I just like I said, when you, I love a good mystery, and this was like a classic thriller,
You're right.
and it had a really strong main character. I loved the characters. I loved the way she interweaved the mystery and the culture. I loved the way she had Donis was so complex and like trying to figure out where she fit in. I think I gotta go with a 5.
I know, and like the more you talk, I'm like, do I need to go up to a 5? I'm gonna stay with a 4, but I could easily be swayed.
So that is where we are on the Firekeeper's Daughter, and we'll see you around.
Okay, bye.
Bye.